And now we're joined by Lalatendu, the CEO of Performics. Lalatendu, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
How are you doing today?
Very good.
Okay, I've realised here that we've just sort of dived into Facebook and the rest of it. What I'd love you to do, I mean, you ran McKinsey Labs, you're a veteran at TCS. You've been around in a nice way, right? Just give us a sort of 30,000 feet view of kind of where social media actually fits in with digital.
I think this is where the future is. I say that with confidence because this is where the consumers are. And Jasper, if you look, the reason consumers are there is because social media is innovating, maybe much faster than many of the other media channels. Right from the days, I think we are old enough to know the early form of Facebook, MySpace, Orkut, which was essentially networks. We joined there to just share, exchange,
and you're
our
part of
statuses.
DoubleClicks, right? I mean, you guys have been around for a while.
At the start of this, right?
Yeah.
Then suddenly short-form video came. Now all marketers would agree with my esteemed panel here, video is the thing right now. Now we are seeing commerce being part of social, and very soon maybe metaverse. Time will tell. But what we need to take away is the innovation that is happening in the space. That gives me a lot of optimism.
And do you ever feel sometimes that social media should be exactly what it says on the tin, social, and that all of you corporate wallahs are sort of gate crashing something that you shouldn't really be gate crashing? Do you ever feel that way?
Not really. For me, social doesn't need to be just about having chit-chat. It's probably much more. For example, co-viewing, enjoying or getting entertained socially, maybe buying something socially by watching a common, influencer-led content. So it is what it is because people have started to adopt those behavior that is kind of expanding the purview of social.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's, as Ashish was saying, it's sort of horses for courses, YouTube, information, to your point, Lalatendu, video. But just when treat me as a client, right? I'm not sure I can afford Performics, but maybe you'll give me a deal. So, and I honestly don't know enough about it. I waste a lot of my own personal time on Instagram, or I think I waste my time. How do you help? What's the kind of idiot, me being the idiot's guide to social media? How do you think about it?
First of all, you are not. Yeah, because you're a user, as you told me, of social media, so it is as intuitive as that. I think for brand leaders like yours, the most fundamental thing that brand leaders need to understand is the marketing funnel on social media is inherently different from what you used to have in offline media. Let me give you an example. In mainline media, you used to do awareness campaigns on TV or print. Then you would do some, offline events to do engagement, route traffic to your store. You make the sale on a store, right? Physical retail store or branches or wherever it is. That was the kind of norm 20 years back. Cut that to social media right now. Maybe you are swiping up your Instagram feed. You suddenly see a nice influencer-led makeup event going on. And you suddenly started to liking, hey, that works for me. Suddenly you start seeing a click to WhatsApp link just below that product. In WhatsApp, you see a product catalog, you make the payment, done the purchase. What you saw in this is the traditional funnel is getting fused into a shopping event right there.
It's all getting linked up.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's the beauty of social media, and that's how I would say all brands need to see each interaction in social media as a potential transaction opportunity.
I see. So social media on its own is a kind of funnel, if you like, and everyone's invested to engage people, and now they're trying to plug in different tools and techniques. And if you cast your mind forward a bit to Web 3.0, and you're uniquely qualified to talk about this, what are we going to see happening in Web 3.0, blockchain, NFT, all of this?
Yeah. No, this is an interesting space, but there's a lot of misconceptions. So if you indulge me for 30 seconds, let me just set this right. Web 3 is a set of technologies, right? It is blockchain, it is crypto, it is smart contracts. the application thereof is a NFT or a metaverse or so on and so forth. Metaverse was an ambitious idea. We now have Facebook as Meta and so on and so forth. Time will tell how much metaverse is going to get accepted, but the underlying technologies are real. Blockchain is getting adopted in financial services for international payments. Smart contracts are already there, right, in terms of advanced banking or financial products. And crypto is already there in terms of security. You talked about identity. Crypto is one of the enabler of identity. So Web 3.0 is already here. The further social applications of that, be it metaverse or NFT, some time to go.
And in that sense, do you kind of remain optimistic about, I mean, if social media to an extent is like the wellspring, right? And we all remember we were engaged by MySpace and then, Facebook version 1. Do you remain optimistic about social media, or do you think it will sort of fall away? Or how do you see it changing, if at all?
I think social media is going to stay. That's because there is an inherent need of humans to engage, interact. Whether I'm interacting with a real person or virtual, I don't know, but I need to interact. So therefore, social media is going to stay. But in what shape and form, I think that would depend on the technology and the adoption, the convenience, and the experience that platforms deliver.
Okay, so, I mean, nobody knows, that's quite right, Lalatendu, but everyone has been quietly dodging the question around, is this thing bad or good? Right, I saw Tom Hanks the other day. He was asked, does he do Instagram? He said it's a massive time suck and bad for you. Yeah. Where do you stand on this? Because I appreciate it's neither good nor bad, but where do you stand on this?
I think social media is good for a discerning audience, but for younger children and all, I think we need to have some kind of regulation on the content that goes in. Because that creates a negative effect if you're not
What's the corporate role on that? You say that, Lalatendu, and I'm not going to put you on the spot too much, but we've all got kids, or some of us have got kids, and they spend a huge amount of time on it. What are corporations doing? So I hear you on regulators. What should corporations be doing to play their part? Because they're implicit to an extent, aren't they?
When you think about corporates, I think if it is platform owners, you just need to make sure there are right child safety or age limit related screening of the content that goes in this, because that's the thing that you anyway promise, right, as a content. And from a brand perspective also, being very strict or maybe discerning again on where you want to advertise along with what kind of content. I think those social responsibility, I think, goes hand in hand with any business in major brands.
Okay, fair enough. Now, you're, again, uniquely qualified to talk about data. I mean, this whole thing ultimately is data. Talk to us about how you think about social media and data and how you help your clients.
Yeah. No, I think data is the cornerstone to make the sense out of social media. For example, we look at identifying the right audiences, right? Who do you target? That's where you start a data journey. Then you start measuring, right? If you run a campaign, how much was it taken up? How many people actually viewed? What's the number of impressions? Now you have conversion APIs on social media. How do you know what offline transaction actually happened because of the campaigns you run on online, and how do you get that data in, right? And lastly, if you think, how do you actually measure the conversion at each funnel, right? So that you can get better at this. For example, in Performics, we have recently launched a product called Creative AI, which essentially tracks the consumer's response to various creatives you create, and it predicts what metadata you should have in your creative to improve the conversion in the funnel. And those metadata can be in terms of color, in terms of CTA, in terms of messages, in terms of how much product positioning that you should do versus should not. All that goes in, right? And this is all data.
All next level stuff. But let me ask a very relevant question for Trailblazers audiences. Should social media, given it's effectively data in disguise, should it even be part of marketing?
Of course. Why not?
It's just I'm conscious, maybe we'll get onto this with G2 a little bit, that the way marketing started out is very different now to the very data-rich environment. Anyway, we're not here to answer that show. A couple more questions before we let you go. Do you think the big channels, the Facebooks, TikToks, the rest of them, are they taking too big a slice of the pie? I mean, I noticed them getting richer and richer. Are we getting enough of our cake?
It's a free market.
Because we own the cake, right?
Economy,
Ultimately.
right? No, I think I personally believe, right, we as marketers go where consumers are. And today, if the consumers are with Meta and Google, so be it. But that doesn't mean that we artificially...
You don't think they're monopolies?
Yeah, we don't need to artificially punish someone just because they have a great product. Rather, I think if you think from a regulator perspective, how do we increase the incentive for innovation? Let there be more players. Let there be more choices for consumers.
That's an extremely diplomatic answer, and I think you win the prize for you know, the champion for the free market. Lalatendu, how many LinkedIn followers do you have?
Around 8,000.
Oh, Nikhil, home straight. You've been a fantastic guest. Yeah, 10,000, 8,000, 1,000. I'm too embarrassed to say. We'll get on to G2. Thank you so much for being on Trailblazers, Lalatendu.
Thank you. Thank you, Jasper.